Okay, I'm back with part 3. But like I said, these are opportunities, as I mentioned, with Rey Mysterio, John Cena, Kelly, Eve, AJ probably right now, that you have to turn them heel, and yet you don't. You don't turn them freaking heel. And why do you not turn them heel? Because you're afraid you're going to lose a certain portion of your audience. You know, one thing I don't understand, and this is one thing that I don't understand about Vince McMahon. You know, again, you would think he would realize he needs to step down and move on with his life. But he doesn't want to because of all these certain reasons. And then again, going back to what I said about Philadelphia. Anytime they do a pay-per-view or a Raw or a SmackDown, even a live event in places like Philadelphia and New York and maybe Chicago, just to name a few cities. Just to name a few cities. Anytime they do something there, when a guy like John Cena, a guy like Rey Mysterio, you know, a person like Kelly, John Morrison when he was part of the company, Eve, when all of them come out, Jeff, let me ask you this, what reaction do we mostly hear off television? What reaction do we hear if we're live there? Do we hear cheers? No. A majority of the reaction that the crowd gives these people are boos. It's a negative reaction. It's kind of like when you go to Canada and let's say Chris Jericho gets cheered right off the bat, or someone like Tyson Kidd gets cheered right off the bat and gets over as a babyface. And yet all the other people, like a John Cena, you know, ends up being treated by the crowd like a heel. The thing is, you think Vince McMahon would wake up and realize that things need to change. I mean, if Vince is so worried about protecting certain members of his Breakfast Club or certain members of his elite, if you will, in the WWE, like a Kelly, like an Eve, like a John Cena, like a Rey Mysterio. If he's so worried about protecting them, you know what you need to do? Don't book them on those shows. Don't book them in Philadelphia. Keep them off of the show. Or if you're going to have them on there, at least have them do a promo. Don't put them in the ring. Have them doing something else. Because if you go to places like Philadelphia, Chicago, and New York, they're going to get booed right out of the building. Philadelphia, and I'll tell you why. 1, Philadelphia, ECW country. Chicago, CM Punk country. New York, Ring of Honor country. Get what I'm saying, folks? And then, this one tops the cake, folks. This one tops the cake. We're coming up with WrestleMania in 2 months. WrestleMania in 2 months. 2 months, folks. And it's going to be in Miami, Florida. And whose hometown is that? Whose home country is that, if you will? That's right, it's Rock country. It's The Rock's hometown. And if you're expecting John Cena to get a mixed reaction there, you know what that crowd's going to say to you, Vince? They're going to say, fuck you. They're going to boo the hell out of John Cena. Now, I know what you're thinking. John Cena has been in hostile territories before. He was in a hostile territory in Chicago. He was in a hostile territory back in 2006 in the Hammerstein Ballroom. Yeah, he was there, but guess what? What happened those 2 times? You were smart enough, I will give you credit, Vince, and whoever you had in charge of creative, not just Stephanie, but somebody else. But you were smart enough back then to realize you got to have Cena drop the title to make those people happy. So the only thing you could do, Vince, is hopefully if you have any smarts left, if you have any sense, any acknowledgement about what's going on left, and according to reports you obviously don't, online reports you don't, but if you have any online report, any online sense left, and Jeff, I know you would agree with this, any acknowledgement, I should say, of what's going on, of current events, you will make the same correct decision and have John Cena lose to The Rock in Miami. I mean, I guarantee you, you're going to go into Sun Life Stadium, and you're going to have people in the front row, you're going to have people up in the stands with possible signs saying, if Cena wins, rewrite. And you might look at that, Vince and Jeff, you know, Vince may look at that and just laugh his ass off and go, ha ha ha, they don't mean that, there's no way they'll riot. Vince, listen to me. That's rock country. Never say never. Because it could happen. And again, that, along with everything I've mentioned in the other two videos, it all proves one thing, Vince. You need to either get with the times. You need to get your mind straight and realize the mistakes you have made and realize what you need to get done to correct those mistakes, or you need to fucking step down and allow someone like Triple H or pick up the phone and call Shane McMahon and say, hey, I'm giving you the fucking company now. That way the company can go into a better direction, and things can be done, and things can improve. You know, another thing you said, Jeff, another thing you said about Vince McMahon and the reason he sucks is due to the fact of WWE Studios and the WWE Network. And I agree, those are years past what they should have been. I mean, think of it this way. When the NFL Network and the Major League Baseball and the NBA networks were being made, do you think they just came out and said, oh, well, one year and they said, okay, we're going to do a network on all these on these leagues. Just do a network totally dedicated to these leagues. Do you think they just did that overnight? No. It took probably a year or two of planning. And by doing that year or two of planning, they were able to launch on the dates they said they were going to launch on. Has WWE done that? No. No, instead they're pushing back on the network. And then what about WWE Studios? Yes, they've had a few, and I will admit this, they've had a few movies in theaters, but most of the time they've been on DVD and Blu-ray, if not for instant streaming on Netflix. And the only time they've ever been in theaters have been in selected cities, and that's only been about a week or two before they came out on DVD and Blu-ray. The fact of the matter is, if you're going to have a movie studio as part of your corporate empire, you should put emphasis, you should make it a separate entity. You should do what Netflix tried to do and failed. You should separate it. Say WWE Studios is a different entity. I'm putting someone else in charge. I'm putting someone else as the chairman for that. Blah, blah, blah. That way they can focus on making that a movie studio, which puts movies in the theaters. And again, I admit, these are years past what they could have originally been. And then one final thing, the CM Punk storyline. You are right, Jeff. A lot of potential right there with CM Punk was lost. I just remember watching CM Punk sitting down on that ramp in June, a week before Money in the Bank, and doing that doing that shoot promo he did. Where he mentioned that when he wins the WWE title, he might go to All Japan or New Japan Pro Wrestling and defend it. He might go to Ring of Honor and defend it. You know, I saw a lot, again, like you, I saw a lot of potential there. A lot of potential for CM Punk to do just that, to carry that out. But did Vince McMahon do that? No! No! He got so worried that he signed CM Punk immediately to a new contract and said, be gone, and basically said, let's have you be gone for 8 days and then you come back the night we crown a new WWE champion. That way we can have our champion versus champion thing at SummerSlam. You can drop the title to, you could drop the title then to ADR after Kevin Nash power bombs the hell out of you. And then what happens? And I agree. You kind of de-push him a little bit till finally you say, okay, Survivor Series, New York City, that's a crowd, like I mentioned, that if you don't put a certain person over, they're going to go crazy, they're going to riot. They're going to get mad, they're going to give you a negative reaction if you don't put the certain person over. And guess what? That's exactly what, and you know what? They made the right decision by putting CM Punk over. I mean, look at the reaction John Morrison got when he came out in the first match. And he's supposed to be one of the most, and he was one of the most over guys at that time. Again, you made a right decision. Vince made the right decision in a Survivor Series. Now he has to either straighten his mind out and start making correct decisions and correct the mistakes he's done, or, as you have said, Jeff, move on with his life and let somebody else take over. But that's all I'm going to say in my response. I didn't mean for this to be 3 videos, but I guess I had a lot to respond to with you, Jeff. I mean, basically, you did almost a 40-minute video on the top 15 reasons, so I guess it's only fair that I do just probably a little over that. So, comment down below, folks. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with me and Jeff on these reasons we talked about? Tell us what you guys think. Talk to you all later.